Hello and welcome to Red River and City Skylines. This is BentlBuilds and this is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, maybe go watch that. I'm not gonna make you. I'm not your dad. You do what you want, you free spirit, you. So as you can see, someone recommended I name this town Smallrock, and I liked it. So we're going with Smallrock Park, and now we're gonna start putting in the essential services for the city of Smallrock. Put in the clinic there on the corner. Originally, I wanted to put the fire station kind of over by the bridge, but then I decided it might be better to have like a city services complex kind of a thing. But naturally, all of the buildings won't fit nicely onto one block because life just can't be easy like that, you know? We all have to deal with minor annoyances from time to time. So I decided to just kind of keep them centered on that main area. So that's the post office I just put down, and then I'm going to put in the library there on this main road, and all of the buildings are kind of in the same style with the red brick. I feel like they're very coherent with each other. They all look really nice. And then for the city hall, I'm going to use this chunky guy, and it might be a little too big for the size of city that this is going to be, but at the same time, it's fine, you know. It's a little vanity project. The people of Small Rock are compensating for having the word small in their name or something like that. That feels like a reasonable explanation for that. I just put in 2 elementary schools, one on either side, to make sure there's some solid coverage for everybody, and I tried to do some terraforming that did not work. Didn't happen, and that's okay, you know. It's good enough for who it's for. To be honest, as much as I wish I could be a total perfectionist, I'm a lazy perfectionist, so it'll be fine. We'll roll with it. Next, I'm going to work on Smallrock Park. I'm putting in the main entrance on the road with the bridge. I decided to do that because right now it's kind of on the edge of town, but like as things start to grow around it, this is going to be like a main entrance into the town, so it makes sense to have it there. And then I want the entrances on either side of the road, because it's all one park. I want them to kind of connect together and be lined up, so I want a crosswalk right here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to like basically just do 2 road segments and line them up so that a crosswalk happens right there, right in the middle, so it connects those 2 pieces of the park really nicely. And there it is. It looks a little funny because I picked that section with the median that's painted instead of the trees. We can say it's for visibility for all the pedestrians, but then the other one still has trees, so like, you know, whatever. We're chilling. All the other roads will have a park entry at the end of them. Lots of nice access to this park. Want to make sure everybody is able to use it as much as they want to, and we want to make it easy for them to do that. While this is still going to be like a more suburban type of city, it is still like a historic, older style city, so it is going to be more walkable than like the, you know, suburbs that you'll see later on. I'm working on this park in the center, Canyon View Park, because you can see 2 canyons from it. Not to brag or anything, but that name is pretty genius. It may be my best work, so please applaud if you feel the need, which I hope you do. The paths in this, I decided to do kind of a fun little scawampus square, a diamond if you will, just to break up the grid a little bit, make it interesting, give a little more dimension to things, add a little spice, you know, just for fun. And then I'll add in a couple playgrounds by the elementary schools. Feels like logical places to do that. And then I'm going to do dog parks because those are necessary. all of the good dogs of Red River need places to play. Those little guys deserve it. So I put one on either side of the city so all of the good boys have a place to go. And then I put in a carousel because I just feel like all old towns like this need to have a carousel. You know, I feel like big cities like that have a newer vibe, they don't have carousels, but all little old towns, for some reason, it just feels like they have a carousel, you know? Don't like fact check me on that, but that's the vibe I'm going for here. This part of the trail or the path in the park was giving me so much trouble. Third time's a charm. I made it work. And I don't know, I just feel like, here's the thing, I have a hard time with parks. So I'm going to take a little break from working on it. I forgot to put in death care, so I put the morgue disguised as a church right there in the center of town, and I did not like how it looked, so I'm going to put it more up by the park, which I feel like fits in a little more, like it looks a little more like it belongs in a residential area anyway. So I think that looks a lot better. And just, yeah, all of these buildings look good together. I feel like things are coming together nicely. I do want to briefly explain to you guys how I did the road network. So all of the roads that go, you know, across, those are all like from Smallrock Park. That first road starts with A, B, C, all the way up. And they're named after cities in Colorado. So it's Aspen, Breckenridge, Center, Durango, Eagle, all the way up. And then the cross streets are all, you know, first, second, third, fourth. Pretty basic, pretty boring. But I'm thinking it'll be kind of cool if for every city I build, the streets in that city will kind of be themed off of a different southwestern state. So, I mean, I've got Colorado covered because I live there now, so I wanted to do that one first. But like, you know, I'll do New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, maybe California, maybe Texas. I feel like those are stretches, but you know, we'll see. We'll see where that gets us. I put in the recycling center over there. And then I checked just to make sure the garbage handling situation was, you know, taken care of in all of the other towns. That's one of the things that stresses me out about building like different towns like this is that, you know, once I press play and once I, you know, start letting things happen and I'm focusing on one town, things can go downhill really quick in a different town that I already worked on, so it's a little stressful. Now I'm putting in the high school, and I put it outside of town, and that, it kind of looks like a monstrosity with that big, massive wall on that side of the street, so I'm going to back it off from the street a little bit to hopefully work it out. And I did not learn my lesson from when I tried to terraform around that elementary school. It didn't work. And it didn't work this time either. So, I am gonna try to make that work. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. It does not work. So we're just gonna watch this train wreck happen together, and it's gonna be really fun. At this point, I try to put in a stadium. It's not gonna happen, and I decide finally to give up and work out a different idea. So my new plan was to put the stadium where the school was and then to put the school on the other side. I didn't really want to have them separated by the highway, but I felt like that was the most reasonable way to do it given the terrain around it. Also, I feel like because of the way that the school looks, like with it higher on the one side and lower on the other, with it on that side of the road, it fits in with the hill slope a little bit better. It fits in a little more naturally. So then with the stadium on the other side, I'm going to do my little road crosswalk trick again and I'm saying that as if I came up with it. I am positive other people do that all the time. But I'm going to do that, so it's a nice little connection between the high school and the field. And then I start to try to put in road connections, and it doesn't connect on that side, and it won't on that side either. So back to the drawing board on the field. Basically on this, all I do is I'll just back the field up a little bit from that road, give it a little more room to breathe, and then basically just do the road around it again, just with a little more space. And look at that, it worked. I did such a good job, not even to brag or anything. I'm very proud of that. And honestly, even though the terrain is a little crazy, I do feel like it works. I'll definitely do some stuff with that later to make it look a little more natural. I'm gonna go ahead and name this Smallrock High School, because I'm boring. And then I, for the life of me, couldn't come up with a mascot for Smallrock High School. I wanted it to, name the stadium after the mascot, but I couldn't think of anything, so I just called it Smallrock Stadium. But if you can think of a good mascot for Smallrock High School, let me know in the comments, and I might use it. I was kind of thinking that the Stallions might be good, the Smallrock Stallions at Stallion Stadium. I don't know, I feel like that's a pretty cool vibe, but if you can think of something better, let me know. That is a challenge. So now I'm letting things start to build up. I did forget to connect electricity to the city because I'm a big dumb idiot. But we're just gonna pretend like I did remember to do that in the first place, because if I didn't, that would be a rookie move, and I am totally not a rookie. Next thing is I'm gonna start putting in this berm, because the good people of Small Rock were a little smarter in the planning of their city. They recognized the risk of flooding that the people of Red Bend just didn't think about. These guys recognized it might be an issue later on, so they're putting in this berm. I'm leaving some access to the actual bank of the river right there. I was in Grand Junction, Colorado this weekend, and there were a ton of people floating the Colorado River, and I just thought that looked really fun. And so I thought that would be kind of a cool thing to incorporate into this, even if it's just leaving a little access to the bank. Like, it's probably the most I can do for that, but that's there for people to float in tubes down the river, just, for fun. I brought the berm all the way down. These buildings do not belong here. This is part of the park. I just forgot to de-zone it. So I'm gonna get rid of those, de-zone the park, so that it can actually be a park. You'll notice that I am intermittently working on the park. I'm not just getting it all done in one shot, because I honestly, I think parks are fun and they look really good. I just have the hardest time buckling down and doing the park all in one go. I need to do other things in between, because it just gets kind of tedious. So that's why there's some bouncing back and forth. But we're back on it with the park for a second. Here's the thing with the berm is I feel like it does look really, really nice. It definitely works for a riverbank. The problem is anything you try to build around the berm, it just messes with everything, and it's super obnoxious. So this part of the park is gonna look a little funky, and that's just gonna be how it is. I like things to look nice, and I am somewhat of a perfectionist, but I also like to pick my battles, and that is not a battle I want to pick. So that's just gonna be good enough. Next thing I'm putting in this fountain, I wanted it centered on one of the paths for kind of a nice grand entry into the park. can see the berm messing with stuff again, but I got it. Next thing, I'm gonna connect everything up. I wanted this park to be like a big loop, so people who are on their fitness journeys could walk little laps around the park and be healthy. But I didn't really like the way that this looked, and then I thought, okay, well, maybe if I try to connect the paths up to the berm, which is not a thing you can do, it turns out. So I kind of just decided to rethink this a little, and I decided that it would be good to leave like a big open field right there, just because a lot of the area around here at this point is really mountainous. Like, there's not going to be very many places that are just like a big open field for people to play ultimate frisbee and be douchebags in, so gotta have room for that, and that's where I put it. I also noticed that there is like some weird crime popping up. The coverage is really good from the station I placed. I don't know why it's not enough, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it up on this road, kind of by the trouble spots. Also, once I start to put in houses up on the foothills, that'll hopefully provide better coverage. When I placed that morgue disguised as a church on that corner, I forgot to replace the zoning, so I just did that. And we're gonna watch to make sure that it's like an actual Main Street looking building. And it is. It's a really good match for there, so I'm really, really pleased about that. I think this whole Main Street just looks really nice, really classic. I'm gonna fill in a couple other little bits of zoning that I missed for some reason, and then I'm gonna start working on some of the amenities at the park, putting in these bathrooms. I don't want them to be like too close to anything because they might be a little stanky. And then the cafe, I want to be in the park but also like feel like part of the city, so I ended up putting it right off of that road with the bridge, and then I decided these docks would be kind of a cool thing to put in, especially these uncovered ones that have the tables. Like, that would be such a dope place for a picnic, or like a failed proposal, or a place for ne'er-do-well teenagers to throw things into the river that they shouldn't. Activities for everyone. And then I'm putting in some gazebos because is it even a park without gazebos? It's one of the true questions of our time, to be honest. It's like very late as I'm recording this. I'm getting, I think, just a scooch delirious. I put in a playground, and now I'm trying to put in a skate park for the ne'er-do-well youths of the town to get some of their energy out, so they don't feel the need to be constantly throwing things into the river. They can skate around instead. But now I have to rework this whole entire section because it was like a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be, and it didn't fit where I had originally planned on it going. So we're just making it work. We're making it happen. And again, the berm is messing with it, so it looks kind of funky, but it's fine. It all worked out in the end. It looks all right. And now I'm just going to start putting in trees, and you're going to learn. This is going to be a very constant theme throughout this. I love the pine trees in City Skylines, especially with this kind of southwestern deserty vibe. I just feel like they work so well with everything, and they do a really good job of like filling up space. And so I'm going to put maybe a few too many pine trees in the city. Definitely going to put them in the park. Just in any empty spaces I can find, I'm going to pop them on in there. I feel like they add so much more dimension, and they just look really nice. So that's really all I can say about it, is I just continue to put them everywhere. Just back at it in Canyon View Park. It needed more pine trees. 4 wasn't enough. It needed 8. I just keep putting more pine trees in. I was really having a good time with this, though. I thought that the pine trees were amazing, and they do look really nice. So I did put a few other trees in there, sprinkled them in to add some diversity. A little gazebo in Canyon View Park too. Once again, it's not a park unless it has a gazebo. It just isn't. I'm going to sprinkle in some trees in Smallrock Park. And then these big shade trees too, I think will be really good to have around. These are also just really good, really full. They really fill things in a little bit, make things feel a little more real. I want to have a lot of them in Smallrock Park because especially in the summer, I feel like this is going to be like a big destination for like the people who are wanting to float the river. There's just got to be a lot of shady options because this is a part of the country that's especially spicy in the summer, So we're going to have plenty of trees for everyone to relax under, and at this point is when I realized that trash was piling up because I forgot to connect the recycling center to water and also to power. Once again, we're just going to pretend that I remembered to do that in the first place because only a rookie would forget something as simple as that. So, it was totally there the whole time. And we're just not going to talk about it anymore. And then back to some pine trees because just can't get enough. I do think that those help fill things in around the high school, though, make it feel a little more natural. And then I'm going to go ahead and just, for fun, get rid of these abandoned buildings and the ones that are complaining. This house especially bugs me because that road was already busy when they built the house, and now they're complaining about the road being loud. Like, duh. If you didn't want to live by a loud road, don't move there, idiots. So anyway, if you complain, I will just knock over your house and or business. We are ruthless here. So, beggars can't be choosers, and I am the chooser, which means all of the people in this town are the beggars. But I promise this is not a dictatorship. This is totally a democracy. So anyway, I'm just going to put in more pine trees, make things feel a little more full. And this is pretty much where I'm going to end things off. I just got to feel like there's enough trees. That's the biggest thing. So that's where we're going to call it. I feel like this looks really nice. It definitely fits in with the environment. It definitely fits that, southwestern historic town kind of vibe. I really like how it turned out. And then we're just gonna go for maybe a little view down Main Street. It definitely looks like a historic Main Street. I'm very proud of it. Not to toot my own horn or anything. And then it just transfers right back out into the canyon. Looks really nice. Everyone, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to. And yeah, thanks. I don't know what else to say. So bye. See you next time.